Hello and welcome back to podcast number 236.
That's not the right number.
It's not the right number. We know. We're just going to keep going higher. We have our guest today, Mrs. Reed, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And what do you do?
I'm a personal financial counselor. That's what I do by trade. Here, I'm the personal financial manager for the installation. So I run that program as well as support the Command Financial Specialist program. And there's more. I run the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society here.
Okay. That's a lot of words. I'll be honest.
Yes, it is.
What do you do as a personal financer?
Okay, so as the personal financial manager, I do a lot of financial education. That's where things are a little bit different for financial counselors versus like financial advisors or financial planners. I educate people. I don't advise people. So if you came into my office and were like, Morgan, what do I do? I wouldn't give you a straight answer. I'd tell you, well, here's all your options. What do you think is going to be best for you? Let's talk about that. Because I really like that side of it because I don't feel like Americans get a lot of education on finances. So giving people that background and then the freedom to make their own choices, I think is really empowering.
So do you help with like all types of finances? So like from cars to houses to like checkbooks?
All of it, plus some.
Plus some. All right. Mm-hmm. Do you guys have any questions? You guys have cards there too.
Yeah. How'd you get into financing?
Ooh, a long route, actually. My bachelor's degree is actually in hospitality management. So when they tell you that like 85% of people don't use their bachelor's degree, they ain't lying. But it was a business-backed degree. So I actually went and did logistics with Target for a while, working in their warehouses. Decided that was not for me, but they helped me pay for my master's. So that was cool. And then I just kind of slowly got into the transition assistance program, which is, more big words, more acronyms. But basically anybody that's getting out of the military has to go through this program, and it helps prepare them for civilian, whatever their plan is in the civilian world. And I started out doing career counseling, helping people figure out what they wanted to do with their life. And then I realized there was a big need in the finance area. And so I started doing some training, some education, went and got another degree. And I just really fell in love with finances through that avenue. I love working with people. That was kind of the common thread in all the jobs that I've had. But I really want to do something impactful. And feeding American consumerism was not it. So being able to help people change their lives by better managing their money, I love it.
Eric?
So you said that it helps people get out of the military, but what do you offer on this island?
So, gosh, all kinds of things. So I teach classes, but I also do one-on-one appointments. So I typically have one class scheduled a month because not a lot of people come to them. Yeah. But one-on-one appointments do tend to be pretty popular because that's where we can really talk about your personal situation as opposed to a lot more broader information. So that's a bulk of what I do, but I'm actually going to be at the Teen Center next month. We're going to be doing a budgeting game to help, I don't know what the age group is at the Teen Center.
It's like
sixth graders. No, seventh through 12th.
So roughly 13 to 18.
Okay.
12 to 18. Yeah.
12 to 18.
Yeah. So the 12 to 18 crowd will be doing a budgeting game. It's kind of going to be like, have you guys ever played the game of life?
Yes.
Okay, it's going to be a lot like that. But we're going to learn about budgeting in the process. So we're going to make it a fun, interactive way to learn how to budget, prep for adulthood. I helped the Girl Scouts earn their budgeting badge. That's a point of pride for me. I thought that was really cool. So I try to get as involved as possible. I try to be as flexible. If it pertains to money in any way, I try to help support the community.
Okay, so I have a question. What's a commonly held belief about your role that you passionately disagree with?
people wait until they have hit rock bottom to come see me. I even one time had somebody in my office and they were like, there's windows that cover like 180 degrees in my office. And they're like, people can see that I'm in here. And I was like, you can come in here for not bad things. We can talk about how to prep for retirement, how to make $1 million. We can talk about how to buy a house, buy a car, fun things. You don't have to come in here just because you have a bad credit score or you're living paycheck to paycheck, those less fun topics. We can do the exciting stuff too. But I think a lot of people believe that is that I'm not helpful until they're in trouble. And that's not true. It actually makes my job a lot harder at that point. But if you just feel like you're not comfortable with investing, that's actually the class I taught yesterday was savings and investing. And the individuals that showed up there, they just said they wanted to learn more. They wanted to get more comfortable with it. That they see all their friends doing these things, but they don't really know what's going on. And that's when it's really exciting because we can start from a better point, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Another question on there?
What do you wish everyone understood about your job?
Probably the advice piece. People are like, no, really, what do I do? I'm like, no, I can't tell you that. It's up to you. You're going to have to make this decision. We can weigh the pros and cons of things, but at the end of the day, it's your finances. I can't tell you what's going to be best for you. You're going to have to be the one that decides that.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite part of the job?
Seeing people succeed. That is one of the hardest parts about my job, is that I don't always get to see the end result. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times I only have 1, maybe 2 appointments with people. It's not meant to be long term. I help people get all the tools they need to go forth and prosper, effectively work myself out of a job, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes, I do get to see that end result. That's one of the nice things about this smaller community is I do see people out and about. And when you know that you made a difference in somebody's life, that's a really cool thing. Mm-hmm. It's a really cool thing. And when it comes to finances, it's a big impact. It's not just small. And so it's really awesome to be a part of that change for the positive in people's lives.
So, if for our future generation or like the high schoolers, is there anything that you could like tell us, like any future advice possibly?
Get started on your finances now. If you're not enrolled in the Teen Center, come see me. Let's learn about budgeting now so that when you get to college, when you're out on your own, that prepare for college. Let's talk about scholarships. Let's talk about how to pay for college before you get yourself into loans that you're not familiar with. The earlier you can go and get assistance, the better. And my services are free. It doesn't cost a penny to come see me. And outside of military installations, my services would cost a lot of money. A lot of money. So take advantage of being here. What's cool about this installation is you don't have to be a part of the military to seek my services. Anybody on this installation is allowed to do that. And so come see me.
So, what was the question? I had a question and I forgot it. You ever hit that?
Yes.
All the time.
So I found it. So you said you host classes, correct?
I do.
So where could one find those classes?
Typically at Fleet and Family. Mm-hmm. And are you talking about, sorry, I guess the better question is, are you talking about where to figure out when those classes are or where are they located?
Both.
We can go with both.
Okay. So typically I teach at Fleet and Family, but I am happy to come to you guys. I worked with the teachers not that long ago, talking to them about their retirement plan. So I will, if there's a need and somebody can host me, I am happy to come to you. Where to find out about when I'm hosting classes, typically the Roller is a good way to figure that one out. Fleet and Family's Facebook page. Every month we post our classes, so that'll be on there. But then you can just call me too or shoot me an email. and I can make a class happen. That was kind of the teen center idea. That's outside of my typical business hours, but that was a request from a number of parents that, you know, they wanted to see this happen. Okay, let's make it happen. So everywhere in between is the answer.
So when you first started out in the finance business, what was a challenge that you didn't think you would come across?
Ooh, that's a good one. What did I not think I'd come across?
Thank you to Ms. French for that question.
You know, I think it wasn't just in finance, but just in general, when you're younger and you're first starting out, it can be really tough. I will say working with retirees tends to be my least favorite crew, just because they tend to look at me and are like, you're really young. What are you going to tell me about my money that I don't already know? That kind of applies to a lot of different contexts, unfortunately, and not just that group. There's a lot that I've done that's part of why my education is so important to me, because it really helps validate things. And I hang that in my office to, again, validate that. But it's sometimes disheartening, because you know what you're capable of, and you still will get people that will give you side eye on that one and challenge you on what you know. And it's a little frustrating. So look forward to that.
You guys have any questions before I start thinking of the top of my head?
What was the schooling like to get into the finance department of stuff?
So a bachelor's degree is definitely going to be important, but you can have that in a lot of different places. I told you guys I had the hospitality management degree. It's basically a business degree, so I still took finance, more corporate finance, but I took accounting, marketing, all the same things that the business school kids took, just with a little bit more focus on the hospitality industry, so hotels, restaurants, and tourism. And so I still had a really good foundation, and then I went to get my graduate certificate in personal financial planning. So there's a couple different areas that you can go as far as financial education, and it really depends on what you want to do. At that point, I had already gotten my accredited financial counselor designation, which was a self-study program. But now, if I wanted to, I could go sit for the certified financial planner exam, which is like really hard and really expensive, so I don't want to fail that. So I haven't taken that yet, but based off my education, I could if I wanted to.
No more from you?
I don't have any more.
Do you have any more?
No, because the last question I asked was like kind of both of those last ones
All right.
together.
So since you're here, would you mind if we asked you for some advice? So when it comes to things like investing, because I know investing is getting big. My friends have started doing that. So do you have any advice that you can give to us for that?
Well, I'm not in the advice giving
Or advice
arena,
giving, yeah,
but
you're right.
what I will say is it always breaks my heart when I ask people about their emergency fund and they show me their Bitcoin account or their Robinhood account and they're investing through an app, you know, whatever account that might be. You really need to start with a really, really good foundation before you get into the investing arena. You need to make sure that you have a budget, your spending is controlled. You need to make sure that you have enough income coming in. You've got adequate insurance. Then you're saving. Investing can be a big part of the savings process, but I want to see an emergency fund. So if you get fired or your job disappears for whatever reason that may be, do you have funds to support yourself until you get a new job? You know, if something unexpected happens in life, do you have the funds to support yourself, or are you gonna have to whip out a credit card? I want to see that you have this funds to support yourself before we start talking about how to invest, because it's a lot riskier. Investing has a lot of risk to it. Not a bad thing by any means, but it's something that you really need to have a strong foundation before you get into that. How's that for advice?
That's good. So when it comes to stuff like cars and houses, so property,
Okay.
that can always be tricky because you can't just, I know a lot of people can't just like pay it out flat. So when it comes to we'll start with like mortgages. Would you rather like basically with the would you rather question? Would you rather have like a like higher percent that you have to of insurance, but a shorter amount of years that you're paying it, or would you rather have a smaller amount of insurance but longer amount of years that you have to pay off the mortgage?
Talking about interest.
Yeah.
Okay, so would I rather have a higher rate of interest on a longer loan?
But on a shorter.
On a shorter loan. Oh. I think in my personal situation, again, because I'm not in the advice giving business, I would go for the lower interest, longer loan. That way my payment is probably going to be a lot smaller. And if I pay it off faster, I pay it off faster. Cool. I had a lower rate of interest, but I'm not forced to pay it off faster. So if something happens in life and it's not in the budget to pay extra on that 1 month, that's okay. I still meet the minimum payment. Gives me a lot more flexibility.
Well, that's all the scenarios I had. Did you guys have a magical scenario that you have in your head? No?
The where's your office, like where people would go to like find your
So Fleet and Family is, do you know where Bulkley Hall is, the housing office? Yeah, so we're up on that hill. If you're actually on Sherman Avenue driving and right before you get to that turn to go towards Bulkley, you'll see the back of our building. It has Fleet and Family Support Center painted on the back.
I've been to Fleet and Family. It's sort of like a little maze. Do they have like a front desk where you can ask?
Yes.
Like, where's Miss Reed?
Yes.
This way, down the right, and then over there.
They'll probably call me to the front.
Okay, so no one's like trying to figure it out and like,
No,
I don't have
no,
a map
no.
to expand around this thing. Where do I go?
No.
So, well, do you have anything else? No?
No, I don't think so.
Do you have anything you want to say? Anything that we didn't ask? Anything that you just want to kind of throw out there?
I don't think so.
Well,
I had a question. I can't remember what it was, so
so you let me
Dude.
go.
yeah, because I'm trying to think of it, but I can't. The music out there is not helping.
No.
us.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I think are they rehearsing the?
They're rehearsing a band thing tonight. Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's the choir going. I think that's the choir going on because it's 7th period,
probably.
so it's the choir doing their stuff.
It's a nice orchestra background.
Yeah.
Yeah, sets the mood.
Well, Eric can't remember his question, unfortunately.
I'll throw you with a different questions. Pancakes,
Ooh.
waffles, or French toast?
Or French toast.
They're all the same thing. I could even throw crepes there too because they're similar. They're all similar enough.
Waffles, hands down, because there's so many fun things you can do. Like my waffle maker is a Mickey Mouse waffle maker, because
Have a pancake, Mickey Mouse.
that's so much more effort though. Because
then
you gotta
have to shape it.
Yeah, you gotta get the ring, and then it has to cook for the right amount of time. Otherwise, you flip it, and it's all a mess anyway, and then the shape's not there. A waffle maker, you just pour it in, and it does it for you, and you've got this fun shape. Because why get an ordinary square when you can have Mickey Mouse
Or little toy cars.
or toy cars?
Or Texas.
I did have an Olaf one at one point. You know, I want to be a snowman.
I want to eat the top of a snowman. Also, like the customization of a waffle is through the roof.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah.
And they also have those little pockets where it holds the syrup in the butter.
Yes.
That's the biggest
Yes.
thing with a pancake. I mean, either soaks through or falls off, but with a waffle, it stays right there in that little pocket.
And it's just a little bit crispier, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot to love about a waffle.
It's like a toasted pancake.
I
mean, if you think about
there
it,
you
It's
go.
a better
Yeah.
pancake. That's what it is.
Well, I think that was the only non-finance question we had, and that's the only questions we do have. So thank you for coming on. This has been interesting. It's been a blast. And so you'll be at the Teen Center. Do you know when in April?
I want to say the 21st, but don't quote me on that. It'll be on the Fleet and Family Facebook page as well as the Naval Stations roller for sure.
right.
Letting you guys know when that's going to be coming up. The Teen Center themselves are definitely tracking it too. But I believe we're going to do it at like 4. So definitely after school hours.
And if anyone can't find it, the Teen Center is open from Thursday through Saturday from Thursday and Friday are both start at 3 o'clock. Thursday ends at 7, and Friday and Saturday end at 9, and then Saturday starts at 1. It's a bit confusing, but they have Facebook pages, Instagram pages, and you can find it on the MWR app or website.
Absolutely.
So thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been fun, and see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.